that was when I ruled the world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for all being here on this special day for the bride and groom. Sorry, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for all being here on this special day for the bride and groom. The time has come for us to get up and entertain you for the next 20 minutes or so by basically taking the piss out of Steve and telling Dre how amazing she is. So I'm first going to pass you over to the father of the bride, that is the Kel. He's just the way down here.
Thank you all very much. We were told the speeches are going to last a half an hour. There are 4 speeches here tonight. So I timed my one for 25 minutes. So the lads have a good minute and a half each after me. It's my job to welcome you all here today. I know some of you have come vast distances to celebrate with Stephen and Andrea, and we have people from Australia, America, Sligo, Wexford, and faraway places. Limerick. Sorry, I forgot about Limerick. A special thank you to my beautiful sister Mary and my brother Terry, and my sister-in-laws Teddy and Mary, and all my nieces and nephews and grandchildren. I'd also like to welcome Paul, Pauline and Angela and all their children into our family. I say welcome, but commiserate is probably a better word. If you thought the Osborns were dysfunctional, wait till you get a load of us. I know this is Andrea's day, but I would like to put a special welcome to the members of the NGBAS Golf Society. These are young men I met in their teens many, many years ago, and hopefully I have shaped their lives over the years and given them the right advice, and they've all become very successful businessmen. In particular, I'd like to welcome Jerry Sinnott. Most of you won't know Jerry, but Jerry is the owner of the Olympia Theatre. He was the #1 producer of plays and musicals in Ireland and brought to Ireland such huge hits as Blood Brothers, South Pacific, West Side Story, and latterly Jedward. We had a bit of a sweep in our society about 10 years ago who would be the first to meet their maker, and I'm after losing my page. My wife is... Jerry and I were obviously the joint favourites. Suffice to say, we have buried 5 of our members since then, and Jerry and I are still going strong. Having said that, at the last funeral we attended, some people were heard to remark, it's hardly worth Jerry's while going home, Cal. But not alone have we survived, but me being a bit of a psychic, I have predicted the next one of our members to actually go. I wouldn't be unduly worried, Pete, because I'm bound to be wrong sometimes, you know. Before I speak about Stephen and Andrea, I'd like to say how proud I am of my other children. Danielle was our firstborn and heir to the Kelly debts. She was first in her class when she did her science degree and now is a major force in on Garda Síochána. Next was Deirdre. Deirdre works in Grafton recruitment and was voted #1 in Ireland last year from thousands of workers. Linda started sweeping up hair in David Marshall's and is now the principal of the David Marshall School of Excellence. So well done, Linda. Anya was one of the first students to be elected to the Board of Governors of Galway University and was one of the first volunteers to go to Chernobyl after their tragic nuclear accident. So that was them. But Andrea seems to have the most onerous job of the whole lot. I don't know whether most of you are aware of this, but Andrea is the Chief Air Traffic Controller for the whole of Sydney. Sorry, no, it's actually Traffic Controller, I'm sorry. Andrea is actually the Chief Lollipop Lady in Sydney. And we have 2 boys as well. All of my daughters marry good men. David is a top auctioneer in Galway. Anya is married to Dr. Malloy. Maura was delighted with Charlotte because she always wanted a doctor in the family, particularly after the disappointment of our own 2 boys. Anthony Cooney has asked for Linda's hand in marriage, but I've always told him to shag off, to be honest. I can tell you now, Anthony, that's because Linda told me to. Deirdre is the only one that hasn't met the love of her life yet, but we have a little surprise for her. We're sending her off on a 2-week catering holiday to Syria next year. So next year we might all be sitting down with Jihad Johnny and his ISIS. So we might have our first ISIS bride in the family. Now, Stephen actually never asked for Andrea's hand in marriage. Seeing as the day is in it, I'm going to forgive him for that, eventually. But there would have been no problem, Stephen, because I would have been only too happy to give you a hand, particularly the one that was dipping into my wallet for about 5 years. When Stephen first came to us, about 10 years ago, and as soon as he left the house, everybody looked at each other and said, "Gay, gay." Now, in fairness, I was sort of 50-50. Now, unfortunately, I'm about 90% certain, you know. Stephen's been here 2 or 3 weeks. He spends his days on the sunbed. Couldn't get married until he had his hair blow dried the other day. I know lots of lads throughout the last 30. I've never known a lad that had to have his eyebrows waxed. Never heard of it. And then I said, today he came out to play golf, and I said, at least he's doing a manly thing, but halfway through the golf, he had to go missing to the beauty salon again. There's a very strong rumour he had a vajazzle this morning for the wedding. I don't know. Little story about Andrea. When she was about 3 years of age, she used to come down with me on a Sunday morning. It doesn't matter, look at her. Oh, they're on fire. I beg your pardon. How did they go on fire? Catastrophe. Anyway, I remember Andrea coming down as a little girl. She was only 3 years of age, and she used to sit up beside me in the cooker, and it was a sort of a tradition in our house that we would, I'd make the breakfast every Sunday morning. And Andrea she's real Dublin accent. She says, "What's that, Daddy? What's that?" And she'd be talking to me. So I'd say, that's a rasher, Andrea. Or, "What's that, Daddy?" "That's a sausage, Andrea." "What's that, Daddy?" "That's a pudding, Andrea." "What's that, Daddy?" "That's a rasher, Andrea." "What's that, Daddy?" "That's a sausage, Andrea." "What's that, Daddy?" And Daddy had been out the night before at this stage, and he'd had enough of it to know. She said, "What's that, Daddy?" And I said, "That's a fucking banana, Andrea, right?" And quick as a light, only 3 years, she says, "No, it's not. It's a fucking sausage." Anyway, I'm just going to finish up with a few words. Maura asked me to say these few words, and if I get a bit emotional, you'll have to forgive me. Stephen, congratulations on marrying our baby girl, and we hope you have a wonderful life together. If you ever hurt our baby, we will hunt you down like a dog No, I'm only joking. She didn't say that. But I know she's thinking it, Stephen. They say marriage is the meeting of two minds and of two hearts and of two souls. And it's clear that Stephen and Andrea are a perfect example of this. May they be blessed with happiness that grows and with love that lasts and a peaceful life together. We wish them enjoyment for today, the fulfillment of all their hopes and dreams for tomorrow, and love and happiness always. It is now my pleasure to propose a toast to the happy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Andrea Carberry. I'm going to hand you over now. Myself and Maura, we're going to hand you over. Maura, who has been stalwart of our lives for many, many years. Should have mentioned earlier, so sorry about that.
I would introduce you to the father of the groom, but he's actually away to the toilet, so everyone can just take a break. I said I would introduce you to the father of the groom now, but he's away for a piss, so we'll have to wait a few minutes. Can everyone get to their feet and give him a big round of applause? Paulie, did you wash your hands?
I guess, Damien, you weren't joking when you said 25 minutes. So I'll have to make it short. I'd like to welcome Professor Stephen Carberry. He's a professor of science. No, seriously. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this marvellous event, Party Day. Anyway, I'm going to make this short and sweet, Damien, because after all, I'm only the warm-up for these two guys, you know? All right? And anyway, Angela has said to me that I have to mind my throat. She said if I go on for much longer, she'll cut it. I'd like to welcome Andrea to our family. And don't we all agree, does she look stunning today? Absolutely stunning. And all as I can ask for as a dad is that she makes my son very, very happy. And that's all I can ask for. And I thank you for that, Andrea. Thank you. I was very apprehensive about making this speech because I live in a household with 4 females. So normally I don't get this long to speak before being interrupted and shot down and stuff like that, Emer. Anyway, my life changed, as Pauline's did, in 1988 when we found Stephen in the when Stephen was born. Isn't that right, Pauline? Yeah. Yes, darling. In 1988, Stephen was born. 3 years later on, we had Alan. Little Podger. And I'd like to say that it was a pleasure for me and these two ladies, Angela and Pauline, to rear you two lads to what you are. And you make me extremely proud. But then again, they grew up like Daddy.
Alan hasn't grown yet.
We're working on it, we're working on it. No, seriously, lads, I'm... I'm extremely proud of you two boys, and I really love you two boys dearly. You are my life. And I hope that you can convey that to Andrea, that the love that I have for you two lads, because it's unconditional. I love you. Stephen has always been a happy-go-lucky fella. We once brought him away to Turkey, Pauline. We once brought him away to Turkey, and he got sunburned, so Pauline gave him some calamine lotion, but he drank it. This was always going to be an emotional day for me, as I'm sure you've seen during the service upstairs. But it gave me a few moments to sit with Stephen, to hold his hand, to look into his eyes, and say the things that I wanted to say to him. Like, when are you getting your stuff out of the attic? On that note, I'd like you to raise your glasses to the new Mr. Stephen and Andrea Carberry. Thank you.
Now I'm just going to pass you on to the groom. Steve-O! Steve-O!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to... All right. All right, I'll keep it short, sweet, and say whatever I have to say, right? I want to thank you all for coming first. I want to thank me dad for the speech, and Damien, rip me new arsehole. You weren't told. I want to say how beautiful my mother looks today, and for all the support over the years. My first mother. I want to say thanks very much to Damien and Maura for welcoming to the family, and all the rest of the Kelliers. Maura, you look beautiful. Angie, you look beautiful as well. Thanks for all the help over the last few months. I want to say a big thanks to... start again. I'm so happy to be sharing this special event. Wedding. With me nannies and me granda. And you all look wonderful. I want to say how beautiful all the bridesmaids look. They're all stunners. And thanks very much for all your help in all the hours and days of preparation to make this a perfect day. Talk about it later. Lads, I want to say thanks very much as well for putting this together. You've put in a big effort. I really appreciate it. Dino, thanks very much for the 2 stags. Dino! As you know, Dino's from up north, so when he's doing his speech to be a sign, what do you call it? Sign language specialist at the end. I probably need it as well. I wanted to also thank everybody for coming, and also a big special one to everyone who travelled from abroad. To Stephen Trainer from Australia. G'day, mate. Shark in the water. Came all the way from Australia, and the first time in an airplane, a big airplane. Also, Brona in America. Owen in Scotland. Shar and Jay in England. Anya, Jar, and Fionn in England. And all the Nordies that came down and you Paula, wreck the shop. Tito. And a big special thanks to Brenna for coming all the way from Ballia on a Rob moped. So now we get to Dre, or Andrea, or Andrew, as my nanny Sheila calls her. Sheila, it's Andrea. Straight chap. I've known Dre for more than 9 years now. And in that time, we've had some of the most amazing experiences together. And all the travelling around the world we've done. We've lived in Spain, and now in Australia. And I can say without a doubt, there's no one else I'd rather do it. I'm not going to cry, right? I really feel we know each other so much, and she's definitely my best friend. She's the most thoughtful person I know. Thoughtful? Thoughtful. We are planning on going on holiday over to America, and she says, "Oh, why don't?" She was planning on going on holiday, and she says, "Why don't you decide where we go?" So I goes, "Yeah, we go to America." And what'd she say? "When you're doing America, we can do Everest while we're there." Everest, right? Everest in America. Who failed geography that year? What? Get the likes of it. But getting serious again, you look about £1 million, Ray. I swear to God, you really look amazing. You really are my princess. And I want you to know that I'm very thankful for all the work you put in. I literally done nothing, right? Literally done nothing. So, thank you very much for everything. I love you so much.
Thanks for that, Steve-O. I hope everyone can bear with me here today. I'm absolutely shitting myself, to be honest with you. I'm not used to this public speaking at all. I actually recommend it as a good alternative to laxatives, because it's not the first time today I've stood up with a white piece of paper in my hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, it goes without saying, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me, that Dre is looking absolutely fantastic today. I know there has been a lot of effort by a lot of people to make today so special, so I hope you are really enjoying it. Also, I'd just like to mention how good the bridesmaids are looking. You're looking beautiful, and you've done a great job today also. Now that brings me to the groom. Doesn't he scrub up well? I know Steve has been preparing for this day for a few months now. And I don't mean by picking flowers or organising the seats or any of that. He's been off making himself look beautiful. For the past few months now, he's been to the beauticians, getting his eyebrows waxed. And he's telling all the lads it's just a trial for the wedding, but I think that's bullshit, to be honest. Also, he's been getting his blackheads removed. And he's been iMacking his nether regions. And finally, he's been hitting the sunbeds just to make himself look beautiful for this day. So I think he deserves a round of applause. I have a list as long as my arm about stories about how Steve has got naked at inappropriate times. And I have a list as long as the other arm of all the stupid shit that he's done. from walking around Bondi on a Sunday morning in a full suit, drinking beer for no reason whatsoever, to dancing in gay bars in Darwin in nothing but his boxers. The list goes on and on, but I know everyone wants to get to the bar and get a feed. And